Welcome to this short video on the updated memory management features in Intella Connect, an Investigator for version 3.0. This update brings significant changes to how Intella utilizes your system's memory, leading to improved performance and efficiency during indexing. Let's start by understanding the key changes. First, in Intella 3.0 for Intella Investigator and Connect, case-sharing memory will be solely handled by Investigator and Connect, while indexing-related settings will be handled by Node. Second, each node can now be configured individually in terms of memory. And third, node memory settings are stored globally and don't depend on the case being indexed. Let's take a deeper look at this and see it in action. In this video, we will use Intella Investigator to demonstrate these changes, but everything here applies to Intella Connect as well. Let's log into the Investigator dashboard and view our case settings. In these case settings, there's now only one memory setting titled Memory Allocation. This setting controls the case-sharing memory only. Indexing-related memory settings, including crawler timeout, have been moved to the node configuration, which we will show later in this video. In terms of configuring this setting, there are two options: Auto and Manual. Auto mode will work the same as previous versions of Intella and is the recommended setting for most users. Manual mode can be used to override the amount of allocated case-sharing memory and is specified in megabytes. This setting can be adjusted through the arrows or by typing in a value. Settings will be saved automatically. As auto mode is the recommended setting for most users, we will change back to auto mode. Memory allocation settings for any Intella nodes can be found by clicking Servers, then clicking the Configure button on a particular node. Each node can now be configured separately, allowing for different memory settings based on the hardware of each machine. So if you have multiple nodes, you can click the Configure button for each node. This is particularly useful if you have multiple nodes with varying capabilities. Node memory settings are also now stored globally and apply to all cases processed by that node. The memory allocation section now displays the total amount of memory detected on your system, and a breakdown of how that memory is allocated to different resources on your system, such as the indexing process or the operating system itself. This section also allows you to fine-tune these settings if needed. Let's go through these settings one by one. Total physical memory. This is the total amount of physical memory that Intella detects on your system. Note that Intella does not use virtual memory. It only uses physical memory. OS reserve. This is the amount of memory allocated to the Windows operating system, as Windows itself requires some amount of memory to function properly. Total allocated memory. This is the total amount of memory that can be allocated specifically for node. It is calculated by taking your system's total physical memory and subtracting the OS reserve memory. Indexing memory. This is the memory used by a lightweight crawler coordinator process for indexing, which requires some amount of memory for the indexing process. However, this will rarely need to be adjusted. Crawler's memory. This is where all the heavy lifting is done in terms of indexing. This amount of memory is for both stages of the indexing process, crawling and post-processing. In terms of configuring these settings, there are three options: Auto, Manual, and Advanced. By default, the setting is set to Auto mode, which is the recommended setting for most users. In Auto mode, Node automatically uses all available physical RAM on your system. This is ideal for maximizing indexing performance and is generally the best choice for most situations. Next is Manual mode. Manual mode allows you to restrict Intella's overall memory usage. You might use this if you're running other memory-intensive applications simultaneously and need to limit how much RAM Intella uses. For example, you can tell Intella to use only a portion of your RAM by specifying a value or by using the arrows. However, we strongly recommend using Auto mode as it allows Intella to perform at its best. The Advanced mode is for more technically skilled users. It allows for fine-grained control over memory distribution between processes, including indexing memory, crawler's memory, and crawler count. For instance, You might choose to decrease the number of crawlers while allocating more memory to each individual crawler. This is an advanced setting and typically only used when specific, tailored performance adjustments are needed, or as requested by Wound support. Note that adjusting these settings may also automatically adjust the total allocated memory setting. As mentioned earlier, the auto mode is generally recommended for nodes. As a final note, note that if both Investigator and Node, or Connect and Node, are running on the same machine, then Node will automatically use only half the default memory to ensure there is enough memory for case sharing. This behavior can be overridden in the manual mode. This concludes our video on Intella 3.0's new memory management system. For any questions, please consult the Intella documentation and contact our support team regarding any technical issues. Thank you for watching.